WCCO TV, and it's my pleasure to introduce my good friend Ron Henderson, the Fitness King, presenting Motivation, one word to help change your life.
Welcome to Motivation. I'm Ron Henderson, aka the Fitness King. On today's show, I have the good pleasure of having Mr. Travis Sims. He is the founder and CEO of Accelerated Global Connections. He's an expert in business networking and travels the country speaking about referral networking and professional development. Welcome to Motivation, Travis. How are you?
Ron, pleasure to be here. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're looking great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you on the show. As usual, this is very customary on Motivation. I always like to ask my guests just one thing that they'd like to share with my viewers that most people don't know about themselves, Travis.
Oh, gosh. Since you asked that question, I'll tell you that you and I have one little thing in common from a long time ago. And back when I was a teenager, and I would have been about 16 years old, mm-hmm. I won a bodybuilding competition.
Okay.
And so I wouldn't win that today,
right.
but at 16 I won a bodybuilding competition.
And most people don't know that. They're not aware of that. Okay.
Would not have any clue.
All right. Well, I can see you look kind of like a powerful guy.
Yep.
Okay. So you're bodybuilding at 6, and I know you do a tremendous thing with networking, but what was your first job? What's the first job that you ever actually remembered having?
My first job was corn detasseling. Mm-hmm.
And
many may not know what that is, but I grew up in a very small southern country town in Indiana. Mm-hmm. And I would get on a bus and ride about an hour away and spend all day in the fields pulling tassels for the corn.
Really?
Yeah,
okay,
very hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that 3 summers, and I bought my first car that way.
Really?
Sure did, yeah.
And how old were you again?
I would have been probably starting at about age 12 with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look at where you are today.
I know.
Yeah.
It's fun how your background as a child helps mm-hmm. mold you as a person. And I'm really thankful the way I grew up because it taught me a really hard work ethic.
Were your parents hard workers too?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm the oldest of 8, and my parents worked for everything they have, and mm-hmm. Dad always worked construction type jobs, or he eventually started his own lawn care and landscaping company.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So we have a lot in common because I used to pick radishes in Fridley. I used to be at the truck farm. I remember I was, probably 12 or 13, pulling those onions too.
Oh, wow.
And you bring the barrels over and they pay you every time you drop off your load.
Yeah.
And I get paid every day, but it was hard work, but my dad was a hard worker too, the same thing.
Yeah.
And so you had some good family. What was your education like growing up? Did you go to high school?
I did, yeah. You know, again, from that small little town, most people in my town do not graduate high school. No. Never go to college.
That's why I asked you that.
Yeah, and most, have kids, get married, move in on mom
mm-hmm.
and dad's property, not always in all that order. I was the same. I did not graduate high school, and was pregnant and married at 17 years old. Okay. And so it's a pretty hard start.
Okay, let's back up a second. Don't lose your train of thought. So, folks at home, now you heard them. You didn't graduate,
no,
but I know who you are today. Okay,
yep.
So continue with the story. You didn't graduate, but you're successful. So continue.
I always say it's the school of hard knocks. When people ask me, especially in today's world, they'll say, what college did you attend? And I didn't attend college, and it's not something I'm ashamed of.
Right.
I feel like that you do not have to attend college to be successful. However, I encourage today's people always to get the education that they need for the careers that they want.
Right.
But I didn't take that course, and I'm very fortunate to be where I am today.
Okay. So you worked on the farm, you did all that. Your first, let's say what people would call your real job. They're all real jobs, but that kind of led you to where you are today. How did that begin? Where did Travis Sims start? Where did you start?
Yeah. I started, my parents owned a lawn care and landscaping company, and I broke away from that. Mm-hmm. I broke their hearts. Okay. They wanted me to run that business, and I left that to start mm-hmm. my own business, which was a pressure washing company at the time. That was very, very new in that age mm-hmm. time, and it people hadn't heard of it.
And when was that?
Oh my gosh, I would have been probably 20 years old, so I'm 43 now, so 23 years ago.
Okay, folks, I'm going to tell myself, I wanted to do the same thing. I swear, I did. Same thing.
Really?
You did it, yeah. Same thing.
Wow. I was driving an ice truck in the wintertime. I know that sounds really funny, but you can still sell ice in the winter. And I watched this guy. I had driven from my hometown of Bedford, Indiana to Indianapolis, and I watched this guy pull up while I was having a sandwich in the truck. And he pulled up and he washed like 20 cars in the amount of time that I was eating lunch.
Yes.
And I saw that and I watched it and I said, oh my gosh, that is amazing. And I immediately started just looking into it and started my own company. Grew it to 3 crews, hot water units, big trucks, going out every day, employing people. And that was my first, business.
Right. That's really, really cool. I think it's very, very cool. Yeah. So you have accelerated global connections now. How did that start? Give me a little background on how you actually got involved in that.
Okay, it's kind of a long story, but I'll sum it up for you quickly. In starting with my own business, I went through a series of a few of my small businesses. I've been fortunate enough that I took each one of those businesses and I sold them and moved on to the next. And many of those businesses are still in operation today. And I found a networking organization called BNI.
Yep.
It's very structured, Business Network International. And I joined BNI to grow my own business. I got attracted to the leadership, the professional qualities and development that they provide, and I excelled and worked myself up through the ranks of BNI, all the way to a franchise owner and executive director, and I helped triple the size of that franchise. And
so you said you worked your way up. Did you was it like some cash? Did you work your way up? That's a joke. When you hear people say they work their way up, you wonder how did you work your way up?
Well, I started as a member to grow my own business, and they made me president, and I doubled the size of the chapter that year. And they said, well, you should go and help other chapters.
Yeah, you should.
It's like, okay, how do you do that? And so I became a director, and I went and helped other chapters, and I helped them double their size. And they said, you should learn how to open chapters.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'll take a look at this. And so then I learned how to open chapters, and all of a sudden I was opening lots of chapters, and then before you know it, they were like, you should manage half this region.
Okay.
And another person was managing the other half, and I grew the southern portion, the northern hadn't grown. And now they're like, you should manage the entire region.
Okay, and how old were you at this time?
Oh my gosh, 30s.
Okay.
Yeah, probably early 30s.
All right, let me interrupt you again. So folks at home, this 30-year-old man that quit school now is running all this stuff. Yeah, keep going.
And it's fun that you say that because I was leading and teaching and coaching people who were much older than me.
Oh yeah.
With way more education than I had. But I just had the discipline and I had the work ethic and I had the things that I wasn't afraid to move it every day, another inch. And so now I'm managing the entire region. I bought in as an owner and tripled the size of that region. And then it allowed me, I developed this process for opening chapters that was super fast. It developed strong, healthy environments for business owners to excel. And I was able to coach other executive directors, and I was able to teach them how to do the same. And it literally allowed me to do this from anywhere.
Okay.
So I sold my portion of the franchise in Indiana, and I told my girlfriend, my fiance today, I said, we can go anywhere. We can do this from a beach. And then I came back and I said, well, I've accepted a role in Minnesota.
Okay. Is she happy about that?
Not extremely happy to start. She was like, what happened to the beach?
Sure.
But we've been in Minnesota for 3 years and just absolutely love it. I chose Minnesota for a reason. I love the people here. And I felt like when I got here that I had found home. And it's a gorgeous state. People come into Minnesota, they only see the Mall of America.
Right, oh yeah.
And I love the lakes and the parks and the waterfalls and the outdoors experience. And it's just a beautiful state to live in.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to applaud what you've done. I think that's really great what you've done. Very impressive. You're the kind of guy I want to hang out with. I want to learn, folks. I want to learn from this guy. Now, you see this show, it's been on for years, but I can learn. You can still learn. You're never too old to learn. Remember that. You're never too learn, and that's hopefully why you're watching Motivation, so that you can learn some new things. So, Accelerated Global Connections, when did that actually start here?
We just launched it. I actually started preparing for this a year ago. In January. I set the vision for Accelerated Global Connections. And I started basically picture boarding it out. You know, here's what I want it to look like, and here's what I think it should be. And I wrote the 5-year plan, and then I started bringing in advisors. I brought in a few people that I trust, people who are strong in networking, and I said, take a look at this with me. And we started just doing the what ifs, like what if we could do this and what if we could do that, and like if there was no limit on what we could do online or what we could do for people face to face or how we could help each other. And then we started planning and implementing, and we rolled it out for January 2nd of 2019, so just a few months ago, and we held our first event on February 6th.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're almost 60 days old at this point.
Wow, very impressive. And you said you brought some people in. How did you get those people?
I met them through networking. They're experts in their industries, and they're well-connected people and well-respected in the area. And they were people I knew I could trust and people I knew I wanted to work with.
Okay. I have a question for you because you were talking about networking. There's so many other networking organizations out there. What makes Accelerated Global Connections different?
If you don't mind, I'd like to kind of go into the differences in those types of
I'd love to
networking.
hear that.
Okay. Because there are several. So first of all, we'll talk about closed networking. So these are organizations that are one person per profession.
Right.
They're very structured. They often meet weekly. They do a lot of tracking. There's a ton of accountability. This is what makes them really good at what they do. Okay. And so these are organizations like BNI, Master Networks, LaTip, Gold Star, and many others.
Right.
Then you have open networking, which is where AGC operates. So in that case, think multi-profession. It's not one person per profession, but there's many in the same profession. They're often after hours. They're more social environments. You're going to meet a lot of people. It's a great way to broaden your net. And think chamber, think AGC, think network after work, or organizations like that. And then you have service networking, which is one of my favorites, and it's where you get to give back. You don't join a service club to gain business. You join a service club to give back to your community. So in this case, think Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions clubs, and so on. These are where you're giving back to your community. Then you have associations. And associations are valuable because in this case, you're networking with people who are in your industry. And this is where you sharpen your saw and where you contribute to others and you share ideas and concepts, very valuable to people in their industry. And then the last one is one that I think most people are on, even if you're not in business, and that's online social networking. So in this case, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so on, allows you to create some brand awareness and reach a big audience. So how are we different? AGC, first of all, the experts tell me that you need to diversify those networks. Like you really shouldn't just be networking in one place. You need to be networking in lots of places because it makes you a stronger, healthier business. You're reaching more people. You're creating visibility, credibility, profitability in all these places. And AGC, whenever I looked at the after hours organizations, everything that I was attending was always in dark bars. And when I would arrive, there was no direction, no guidance, no education, no motivation. And honestly, it felt a lot like a dating atmosphere.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I even felt a little rough for some of the girls in the room. I thought, oh my gosh, this is painful. And I thought, this is an area we can make a difference. And so what we did was we took those after hours events, which often was taking place between 6 and 10 p.m. And we moved them a little earlier. So they happen immediately on the way home from work. So in that 4 to 6 or in that 5 to 7 range. And we put them in very high-end locations. So like country clubs and golf courses and hotels and just beautiful establishments. Got them out of those dark bars. And then we gave some guidance to the networking. A lot of people don't know how to do networking. They don't teach it in college. So we gave some guidance to that so that people meet more people, they have great conversations. And then we put the education piece in, the motivation portion. So it's a very much like a TED Talk style environment where a motivational speaker is going to share a message that is valuable. They're not selling to you, but they're sharing motivation, inspiration, and an education, something that you'll be able to take away and apply to your life.
Right, and most of these other networks don't do that, I believe, right?
They don't. And we're doing some things that are very different. We're almost turning the networking environment up on its head, changing it up for the first time in a long time.
Right. I had an opportunity to attend one of your events and actually speak at one of your events.
You did. It was awesome. Fantastic speaker, and what a treat for our guests. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I have to say that I felt that you guys did kick it up a notch because I like what you're doing, and even going online, looking at the speakers that you guys are having. If I'm at an event like that, I always want to feel like I'm really gaining a little bit. And so if you have speakers that are there that are pushing positive messages and things, I mean, even this show today, interviewing you, I'm going to watch it a couple of times because I'm learning some things. Just learning about just the process of even what's out there for marketing.
Oh, thank you.
And the importance of it. So you started that, and you have like a board with you? You have a board
I do.
of directors with you? How does it work?
I'm very thankful. The people that I trust and the people that I brought in early loved what we were doing and wanted to do this with me. And so each event, we have 6 events happening around the Twin Cities every single month. And each event has what I call an event captain.
Okay.
And they manage a lieutenant team of people, and their jobs together is to fill the event, to work the event, and to follow up from the event. Because it would be a little overwhelming for me to manage all of those events, to make sure they're successful, to make sure we're getting great audiences and picking great speakers and so on. This model allows me to spread this faster. So as we develop the Twin Cities, now we're only 60 days old, but we're well over 100 members in just 60 days, which is
very impressive.
I'm extremely ecstatic about.
Very impressive.
And but our plan is to spread this across the country and across the world. And it's that model allows this to be scalable.
Right. Let me ask you this. Why are you so passionate? Because I can tell you're passionate about this. I mean, I'm in health and all that stuff. People look at it, hey, you got to be passionate because you really care about people. But you seem very passionate about what you're doing. Where did that come from, and why are you so passionate about this?
I know this might sound cheesy, but I love helping people.
No, it's not cheesy.
I absolutely love connecting people. There's no greater enjoyment for me than to actually make a connection for you that turns into a referral that helps you close business. I mean, it's just like it lives in my soul. And I know that business is going to translate into being able to send your kid to college, or being able to manage your house payment, or whatever that is. And I think it comes from something that my parents instilled to me as a really young age. And my parents originally had us 3 boys, and then they started fostering, and they fostered children for many years. And over the course of that, they ended up adopting 5 children who didn't have homes or families. And so it's just been in my nature from an early being to want to help others, and I just truly do. And I found the way that I can do that.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. So how do people hear about you typically?
We're everywhere. I mean, you can find us on social media, all types of social media. You can find us on our website, joinagc.com. We're just, if you're in the Twin Cities, you know we're here by now. The branding's been strong. We've been really fortunate. And then too, the talks that we're putting out. So, in just 60 days, we've got 12, 15 talks available that our members and our guests and visitors to our website can go and check those motivational talks out.
I think you should do AGC talk. Have it look like TED Talks, but have a little thing there. Start your own thing. I think it's a good concept.
Yeah.
Because of how you guys do it.
Yeah. No, that's my favorite part. I love connecting others. I love helping people, and I love the networking portion of it. But I get to sit in the back or stand in the back and watch that speaker and absorb that education and watch the light bulbs go off for people in the room, and their faces light up, and people taking notes, and it helps. I mean, it helps the greater good.
I would agree. So what's next for you guys? I mean, you're talking about expanding, but I mean, looking at you, listening to you talk, I mean, you have this big picture. So what's the big picture, Travis? Can we talk? Can we get up close and personal?
Yes. For me, expansion and growth means helping more people. I chose this industry, and I walked away from industries that I loved because I love helping people. And so our mission is to create a community network with a global impact. AGC stands for Accelerated Global Connections.
Yes.
And I put global in the name on purpose because we really can create a global impact. Even at a local level, one of the ways that we're doing that is 5% of a AGC membership goes back to a charity of their choice. And we're using 3 charities this year. You can give back to veterans, you can give back to animals, and you can give to mental health.
Yeah.
And we'll look a year from now and see, what were the favorite, and keep that and maybe change them out. But we're making that global impact by just being able to donate to those causes and help businesses everywhere. So as we expand and as we grow across the country and across the world, for one membership price, you'll be able to drop into any event anywhere happening on the globe. Again, this is something I don't know that anyone's doing. Even if you think about just the Twin Cities market, and there's 6 locations currently. So let's use the chamber, which I love the chamber. I'm a member of a few chambers, but if I'm a member of the St. Paul Chamber and I'm attending St. Paul events, right? So I'm paying for membership here. If I want to go to the Minneapolis Chamber events, I need to be a member there.
I know.
And I need to pay there too.
I know.
Right? So for one membership price, you can hit all the Twin Cities market for one price. And then as we expand across the country and across the globe, you'll be able to do that anywhere. Get off the plane in California because you're there on business, and I'm going to drop in the AGC event tonight and meet some new people.
Okay, so I'm Joe Blow off the street. I heard about your Accelerated Global Connections, and I want to come tonight and just take a look at it. What's it going to cost me to get in?
I'm glad you asked that question because I'll tell you, we want that first experience to be free. Absolutely free. And because I wouldn't want anyone to buy something unless they had experienced it. And so they can come into an event, first time's always free. They register right on our website as a non-member, and they can attend any event. Check it out, see if it's the right atmosphere for them.
Is there food? Folks, men always say, is there food? Is there food there?
There is. First 45 minutes is open networking, so you're going to mingle with people, get to know people, exchange cards over appetizers, a cash bar. It's a fun environment.
Food's free?
Food is free.
See, I'm asking my audience, they want to know these things.
Yes, the food is free. Absolutely.
Pretty good food too?
It is, yeah. Very nice establishments bring very nice catering.
All right. So when you were talking about like the event was at Hazeltine or what?
Yes.
Whatever. So how do you get all these places too? Do they just they look at your smiley face and they say, welcome, come on in.
I wish that was the case. However, I'm paying for all these event spaces, and I'm paying a premium dollar. However, I'm a pretty good negotiator. And one value that I bring establishments is that I'm going to bring you 50 to 100 people every single time, and they're all business owners and salespeople in your community, which is a pretty good value proposition for them. So we have a pretty good relationship with all of our venues, and we're currently looking for more venues.
So how often do you speak? Because when I went through, I was like tired of reading all this stuff about you.
Yeah.
Folks, I was like tired of reading about this guy. So how often do you actually go out and speak yourself now? Because you have this history of, you've kind of been all over.
I do. I enjoy speaking. It's something I just love to do. And help people and reach people. And it's just, my teacher, whenever I was a kid, I always got in trouble for talking too much in class. Okay. So I love talking. But I still get to go around and speak. I travel around the country and do speaking for motivation and education and teaching people how to grow and network and build relationships and those things. I'm actually speaking.
I was going to say you're speaking this week, aren't you?
I am. I know.
Where are you speaking at? Tell the audience.
Sure. I'm speaking this week at an AGC event in Minnetonka. It's happening on Thursday, April 4th from 5 to 7. It's rare because I don't usually take the AGC stage. It's a stage that I want to put others on.
Right.
And my team has been begging me to be the speaker. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
And my topic is going to be someday is not a day in the week. And so it'll be a lot of fun. It's a message that I love to share.
Sounds good. Now I'm looking at the screen, looking at you. I'm thinking, we got the same kind of look. Maybe I'll carjack him and I'll go and speak instead of you. They'll think I'm you. We got the kind of the same look.
Yeah, we could go for brothers, I think.
Yeah,
we could.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Travis Smith. I'm proud to be a guest of Motivation Day with Ron Henderson, the Fitness King.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
And so when we were just designing AGC, what I earlier alluded to, a lot of after-hours
Yep,
events
yep.
happening in that 6 to
Yep.
9, 6 to 10 window. And in this case, we wanted to put it in the 4 to 6, 5 to 7 for a reason. People can do it on the way home, and they can still be home for
Right.
dinner.
Okay,
or
so
they
yeah.
can still be home to tuck their kids in bed.
Yep, yep.
The other thing is that we've created an environment for you to bring your spouse to. And Dawn, I call her the first lady of AGC,
Okay.
and she gets to come to those events with me. And so we do a lot of those together.
Good.
And we also have a household membership for AGC because we want to encourage others to bring their spouse or significant other. Even if they're not a business owner or they're a separate business owner, it's half price for that significant other.
Well, that's cool. Very good. We have about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Could you share one thing with my viewing audience that might be able to motivate them to maybe take that next step in their life? Because people are sitting around waiting. They're creating excuse after excuse. You're not really seeking after things that they desire in life. So what could you say in the next 30 to 40 seconds just to motivate them?
Wow, you put me on the spot, but
Yes, I do. I do that all the time. This is motivation.
It is, but I'll say this. Coming from someone that had no high school education, who just rolled up my sleeve and worked hard, anything's possible. It really is. The only limits that you put on yourself, that's the only limitations you have. So my topic later in this week is someday is not a day in the week. Start now. Whatever that dream is, whatever you're focused on, whatever you want to do, start now. Even if it's just talking about it and writing the plan.
Right.
A year ago, I wrote the plan for AGC and created a brand new concept. So start now.
Right.
Don't put it off.
Right. Nicely spoken there, Mr. Travis Smith.
Thank you.
Folks, you've been watching Motivation with Ron Henderson and my guest, Mr. Travis Sims from
Yes.
Accelerated Global Connections. Remember this, and all that you do, stay fit, stay blessed, and stay motivated. We're going to see you next time on Motivation. Great job. Great job.